Hello and welcome back to Breeze GIS. Today I have a video for you looking at how to use the buffer tool inside of ArcGIS. So essentially what the buffer tool is, it allows you to draw an additional polygon layer, a polygon buffer around whatever feature you want on your map. So to demonstrate how to use the buffer tool today inside of Arc, I just have a basic base map pulled up, and on top of that I have created a point feature layer of just points around on top of cities inside of Texas. So what I'm going to be doing is using the buffer tool to draw buffers around each of these cities at a specified distance. So to get started, I'm going to go into the toolbox either through Analysis and Tools or View and Geoprocessing and open up the toolbox. So inside of the toolbox, you can type in buffer to open up the buffer tool. And once you pull it up, it will require you to put an input feature. And if you're unfamiliar of how to create a feature class, whether that's like a point or polygon or line feature class, all you have to do is go into the toolbox again and type in create feature class. And that'll allow you to create points, polygons, lines, whatever you would like. So we're going to go back into the buffer tool. And inside, it just requires one input feature, and we're going to input the Texas cities feature that I made, and it's going to output a buffer. Now, how this works and what's useful and really cool is an application for the buffer tool is you can draw buffers around features, points, lines, and polygons, and look for intersections and look for distances and how relatively close or far apart or the relationship between different features using the buffer tool. And you can also use the buffer tool to identify how close other objects are within a specified feature. Like if you have a city right here and I want to see maybe I want to look and see, okay, how many maybe smaller cities or something, or how many roads or water features or something are within a certain mile radius of like Dallas. I can do that by using the buffer tool. I can do like how many water features are within 10 miles of Dallas or something like that. So there's a lot of cool applications to the buffer feature. All we are going to be doing today is drawing a basic buffer, and I'm just going to call this Texas Cities buffer. And then so the units, I'm going to use meters. I'm going to use US survey miles, and I'm going to say 50 miles. And you can do linear or field units. You can do planar or geodesic, whatever you would like. I'm just going to do planar US survey miles, and I'm going to look and see within 50 mile, and I'm going to draw a buffer around each of these cities for 50 miles. And so what dissolve is it essentially dissolves the buffers together if you want. Of this first one, I'm not going to put any dissolve, but I'm going to put a dissolve on the next one. So I'm going to hit run on that, and what it's going to do is it's going to create another layer for me. What did I not do? Let me rename this. I might have another layer with that same exact name, so I'm just going to rename it. All right, there we go. So this is what it looks like when you create a buffer. So I did a 50-mile buffer around each of these points. And so what you can see is that a polygon was created for 50 survey miles around each of these points. And what you can see is there's some overlap. So what the buffer tool is useful for is looking for overlap between different features based on a specified distance. So what I can do is I can use this dissolve tool to dissolve all of the buffers together if I want. So I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to run it again. And this is what the dissolve tool does, and it dissolves all of the buffers together if you would like. But if you don't want that, you can just use do the no dissolve. And then now I can see I've drawn a buffer, a 50-mile buffer around each of these points, and I can, if I'm looking for something, and it's within 50 miles of these points, I can use the buffer tool to help determine that. If I want to look at intersections between cities within a specified distance, I can look at that. The buffer tool has a lot of cool applications, but it allows you to draw these, polygons around feature layers to, use for whatever application you're trying to use them for. But that is essentially how you use the buffer tool. All you need is an input feature and just determine the specified distance you want, and then the dissolve type, and that's about it. So that is how you use the buffer tool. I'll definitely be using that in future projects that I'm working on. I do like the buffer tool. But that is how you use the buffer tool. Thank you for watching today. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video.